This is the only middle split video that you will ever need to watch. Bear with me, it sounds complicated at first because not only is there specific muscles that you need to train, but you also need to work with your own bone structure to find a way to make the middle splits actually work for your body. Believe it or not, I actually have terrible middle split genetics with my bone structure, but I can make it work, so can you. So the first and most obvious step, you need some flexible muscles. The main ones being your hamstrings and of course your adductors, which most people just call their inner thighs. So here's a quick test. Can you put your palms fully flat on the ground? And next, in a butterfly stretch, can you touch your forehead all the way to your toes? But the ultimate test, which combines both the hamstrings and the adductors flexibility into one beautiful stretch, the pancake stretch. You'll know you've made it when you can touch your chest or even your stomach all the way down to the ground. So right there is a very simple list of stretches: hamstring stretch, butterfly stretch, and pancake stretch.
And as you can see, there are easy variations.
Exhale, sink deeper, and you're going to hold.
And there are hard variations.
And then you're going to reach your elbow all the way down.
And this goes for every single exercise. Easy, hard. Easy, hard.
But the most important stretch is practicing the middle splits at whatever level you are at right now. You're never gonna get better at the actual skill unless you practice it. But first, you need to know the technique that's gonna get you there. But before that, a sponsor. Surprise! It's me, the sponsor. But seriously though, I have a full middle split program at the top of the description. Go ahead and click it, check it out. Stay flexy, guys. Back to the video, right? Come on. All right. Back to technique. This bone right here is called your femur. It's shaped a little bit like this, and it fits into your hip socket, and it moves around kinda like this. But when you just try and go to your middle split with no technique, ow, something happens. The top part of your femur smashes into your pelvis, and as you can see, the leg doesn't go out a full 180 degrees. It stops before you can get to the middle split position. Not fun. So this is where your genetics come in. Some people have different hip angles, and if you have a higher hip angle, it doesn't really matter if you just go out straight to the side like that. But that is definitely not me, and I'm assuming it's not you because only a small percentage of the population actually has that. Seriously, I have bad middle split genetics. This is about as far as I can go, and my head isn't even in frame. But luckily, there is a solution, and it's called external rotation. What the heck is that? Let's say you have a terrible femoral angle, kind of like me, and it looks a little bit like this. So instead of just going ow, 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 out to the side, what you do is you externally rotate as you go to the side, and you're able to go 180 degrees to the side. So you rotate outwards as you move to the leg to the side. Instead of going out, you rotate and you go out. See? But remember the beginning of the video? I kept one muscle group secret, and it's the one that usually hinders external rotation. Your ability to externally rotate your hips is dictated by your glutes.
Because I know somebody is gonna correct me. Yes, I know it's the external rotators and not the glutes, and I know they're not the same thing, but for simplicity's sake, please, we're just gonna say glutes. I'm sorry.
But for real though, most glute stretches also stretch the external rotators, so that's why it's like that. Back to the video.
So we need to add another stretch to the mix, and that stretch is the pigeon pose.
And you bet, there's an easy version
Opposite side glute, just like that.
and a hard version.
You're going to lean the chest.
So just pick the variation that works best for you.
So instead of just stopping where it hurts, you can externally rotate, which looks like this, which gives me access to more range of motion. And if you're really picky about keeping your feet on the ground because it's a straddle, not a middle split, spot the difference. Straddle, middle split. Straddle, middle split. The only difference between those two stretches is the ankle flexibility to put your foot on the ground, which I'll make a video about soon, but for most people who aren't martial artists, just focus on the hips. So now that you have the proper technique, that's great, but it doesn't automatically mean you're flexible. You still need to stretch, but exactly how much? There are two papers that I would look at. There's this one, which looked at all the available literature at the time and found out that about 5 minutes a week is the minimum to make flexibility progress. So all I gotta do is hold a stretch for 5 minutes a week and then I'm done? Not quite. Because in this second paper, they found diminishing returns the longer you held the stretch. They tested 15 seconds, 30 seconds, and 60 seconds. And what do you know? 30 seconds outperformed all of them. So what that really means is you need to get 30-second sets enough times that the total volume adds up to 5 minutes. Don't worry, you don't have to do math. For 30 seconds, that's 10 sets every single week. That means that if you hold a 30-second stretch and then you rest, and then you hold that 30-second stretch again, that's 1 minute toward your 5-minute total. And if you do that Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, and you rest on Saturdays and Sundays, that's 5 minutes a week, and you just have to do that for every single stretch. Or theoretically, you could do 5 sets of 30-second stretches every Monday and Wednesday for every single stretch, but that's a little much for me. But whatever floats your boat, I've made progress doing both. So if we were to build a routine out of everything we learned, it would look a little something like this. Hamstring stretch, 30 seconds. Butterfly stretch, 30 seconds. Then your pancake stretch, again, 30 seconds. Pigeon stretch, 30 seconds. And then lastly, you need to practice your middle split at whatever level you're at. Now, technically, if you did this, you would only need to do it 4 days a week, and it would count as 6 minutes toward each muscle group, which is more than the 5-minute requirement. What? How?
Well, there's only 3 muscle groups we really care about, and the hamstring stretch stretches one of them. So that's 30 seconds out of the way, but it gets interesting when you get to the butterfly stretch, because this one stretches your adductors and your glutes. So for one stretch, you get 30 seconds of volume in both muscle groups. So the pancake stretch does the same thing, but for the hamstrings and adductors. The pigeon gets the glutes, and the middle split, well, that one does all 3. Nice.
So if you repeat that entire session 4 days a week, that's 3, 6, 9, 12 sets of 30 seconds every week for every muscle group. 12 sets of 30 seconds in each muscle group equals 6 minutes every single week for every muscle group needed to get the middle split. So all your bases are covered, and it's just a matter of time before you get to your middle splits. Now, of course, if you would like more variation in your training and different exercises every week, I have a full middle split program that I mentioned earlier. It's at the top of the description. I highly recommend checking it out. Stay flexy, guys.